obviously have your battle culture, right? But you're saying cipher culture. And obviously cipher, circulation, you guys, circulation is growing. Y'all putting in that work. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. No worries. I know you are, man. So my first question is, can you explain to the people that might not know, younger heads that are just getting into the culture, what is Project Bloat and what's the significance of that on your career?
Project Bloat and its significance is the carry on and carry through from GoodLife and in general, when I was a kid, looking for opportunities to express my art, with the microphone. And a lot of times when I was young, even in New York, coming back and forth, like circa 85, right? If you weren't in high school having a beat and rhyme session or battling somebody, there wasn't like a significant open mic workshop available to you. So you go to these coffee houses. And so I find myself in the summers going to New York and in LA, going to Hollywood, to these open mic workshops that they would have, but they were more like poetry slam styles, coffee houses, and they were revitalizing the coffee house culture from the beat gen era, back in the Kerouac days and the early, days. And this is still early in my reality, like late 80s. So then when I found out about the GoodLife, vegetarian workshop and shit, you can't curse, they had a couple rules and shit. But like, you can sign your name up and get on the mic and rap. Because at these poetry places, I would say my raps at first in a poetry cadence, and they would do the finger snap. Then after a while, I started getting brave, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna rap. And realized, damn, I'm the only rapper in these scenarios. Then other rappers would come out. And long story short, the Project Bloat extension from that, and shout out Ben Caldwell, shout out Aceyalone, shout out Aaron, Abstract Rude, those are the originators, shout out Jay Smooth, shout out all the different crews. Some of the crews from GoodLife carried on over and through. And speaking of crew, I gotta represent for my bro Moka Only. Pardon.
Oh, gee. Yeah, if you don't know who that is, that's Vancouver's own Moka Only, the motherfucking legend. He's responsible for a lot of the best hooks in the Swollen Members catalog. And a multitude of instrumental albums, vinyls, all kinds of dope-ass shit. This guy's a mad sampler. He's been making beats since, the early 90s, I think. Definitely one of the most legendary producers and MCs in the city. How you doing, Mocha?
Yeah. What up?
We were just asking him about the significance of cipher culture, specifically with him, Project Bloat. But what do you have to say about the significance of like cipher culture and like getting in there with your friends and like passing that energy around in a circle and like building that up?
You need it. That's where you build your stripes and your bars from. When I say bars, I mean your bars. You need that. It's a must. If you're seriously going into this hip hop thing full-heartedly, it's just expected. You really ought to do that. Now, I might be more around the periphery these days and not in the thick of it, but we got to remember, I did that for 30 years prior.
Take a rose out of many. There's a nursery. This brother, consummate professional, cool to tour with, because some people spaz out after a while. No matter what's going on, always fly. Makes his own beats, tracks, works across the board, music director. And in a unique way, it doesn't come off like a control, like it's a interwoven experience watching him perform, especially on his own tracks. He's melodic, he's sonic, he knows arrangement. I mean, I go on and on. But also a holder of the light. I mean, he's here now. Like, he's still getting down. Like, we might get down tonight. Like, who knows? Consistency.
I had a good teacher.
So how much of an impact did this guy have on your career?
Massive. I've never really explained that to him after countless nights of like sharing hotel rooms on the road. But
I thought you were asking me. And what he's taught me is the showmanship of the craft that comes with it being polished, not just busting and demonstrating your flow power, but on the business end of that mic, reading the room, complimenting the aesthetic, and people leaving knowing they got a show, not they just saw Mocha, and he makes new fans. And we've rocked private parties where it's like a handful of people that just going out. We rock nice gigs. We got tunes in the can. Some of them came out, but I look forward to work with him in the future, man. Salute, bro. Thank you. Canada massive, man.
I just want to add on to what I was saying before. When I first heard him, it was like a light cloud descending, and I'll tell you why. Melody. Because I was in my area I was experimenting with melody at an early time, and I hadn't heard any other rappers really do that.
Not just pitch changing, high, low.
Not just pitch change,
Interwoven and
melody, and even harmony and harmonies too on top of melody. So
harmonies, not just mid, high, low.
when I first,
Those funny things that sound funny when you solo it, but it worked right in the cut.
when I heard To Whom It May Concern, it was what's the word I could use? What would be best apt to describe that? It just felt like, okay, I got some good company to be in and aspirations to look up to.
Like that. And we toured, we chill. He need his coffee in the morning. he ain't a spaz or nothing, but just like, not as, and me, I need my weed. And so, hey.
Yeah, I need my weed and coffee.
Nah, but this is the mighty Mocha, y'all, like for real. And his crew, groundbreaking. We all still fuck with each other on levels of being MCs and dope, whether it's Busta Rhymes, shout out Busta, or Chris Paul, producers, DJs. I still get them little calls, some shout outs, Sway, shout like, and it's not just like the encouragement as much as it's just like, I keep you in mind, I was thinking about y'all reached out to you, and that hip hop 50 wave, woo, woo. Man, so many people coming out and eating right now, man, it's crazy, bro. Onyx going out, maybe all the members ain't there, Far Side, Diggable Planet, shout out, it's all love, handles. Legs, Tash, East Coast, West Coast, all around, and like, it's important to me because as a kid, I was doing something that nobody really was, understanding when I was a child, I started rapping, I was 12, I'm about to be 56. And back in that late 70s, early 80s, you dealt with a lot of shit, a lot of racism, when mandatory, but you dealt with people, you used to call that devil talk, it was some wild shit, your rhymes getting balled up and threw in the trash by your teachers, or the fun times where you always had a new rap for the next day in the back of the bus, on the school bus, to the point where the bus driver stopped playing the radio. It was like, say that when you said last Thursday. And I'd start the beat, then everyone in all the seats would start the beat too. And then I'd rap to the beat they doing and clapping their hands and just the culture entertaining. To this day, though, the hardest performances are when you go to your homegirl's house, your homeboy's house, and they auntie sitting on the couch, and they niece, hey, baby, I heard you can rap, baby. Say one of those raps for me, baby. It's like performing under a microscope. And I love a soft draw if it's like 15 people. I mean, I like the big juicy gigs, but like, still performing with that integrity for the spirits, for the ancestors, right? But that couch, though, and that auntie somewhere in Stockton, somewhere, shout out Kirby Dominant, man, you like, man, it's showtime. It's showtime. And that's why, again, I was complimenting Mocha and a lot of these artists that really flow tight, that are big names, Ludacris, Eminem, across the board, X, Joyner, J. Cole, I could go on and on, Big Sean, like, in different styles, the grime, the drill, the trap, even some of them stripper rappers, they perfunctorily, or if I said the word right, they're performing the craft for what it's worth, but just to know we were messing around with these different styles back when it was experimental and not established, and just to see how far-reaching it is, a biter here, a biter there, not to say biter, but more like different influences are, we drink the same water, but in all honesty, I appreciate the cipher culture, and post-Project Blowed, there were certain levels of excellence, craftsmanship, a demand, and it was a challenge for me because, as one of the originators, not to rest on your laurels, not to think just because you're you. Even here tonight, not just because you're here. I understand people, like your physical, tangible flesh, but I mean, like, still, you gotta put forth that effort.
How did you guys keep Project Blowed so sustainable and so exciting? How did you keep people interested and engaged over all the times that you did it? It was such a long era. It was such an epic tale. How did you keep people coming back?
The question you're asking me was what I was about to expand on next, which was from the good life and the original etiquette, if you will, of not cursing or whatever, or the craft, of people just being happy to be there, to the point where they adhered to the rules so that they wouldn't get banished. and Project Blow, you was able to cuss. But either way, both places were, established as platforms by pillars in our community. And, rest in peace, Efi, and shout out Ben Caldwell. But what happens is that mic etiquette that I always adhere to, sometimes I don't, I admit. Sometimes, I've been accused of mic hogging if I'm in a zone, but most of the time, no. And it's not just 16, but the etiquette of, of a cipher has flowing. And, to say you enough before somebody take it personal and a battle kick off, right? But like, from Project Blow into just a pure realm of ciphers, I must say that back in the day, it was more battling, but if heads didn't want to battle, you would have a cipher. Cipher, same when you pass the blunt, the basic etiquette. But then keeping the subject matter. I learned to be a better freestyle from Aceyalone and from Teaspoon Iodine, where you had to beat and rhyme at the same time and keep the same pattern. The cohesion was key, and then they would stop. And I'm like, what? Oh, you didn't keep the same beat. Then we go around a couple times, they'd stop again. What? You're using a bridge word. You keep saying that word while you're thinking about something else. Stop using your bridge words. Stop stretching the words while you're thinking. Stop pausing. And that's when we became very proficient at, but anyway, they stop again. What'd I do wrong this time? Oh, you weren't keeping the subject matter. And it doesn't have to be that cohesive, but it's fun when you do that shit too. And then other aspects of cipher and learning the drilling, I miss ciphers. I have imaginary ciphers with myself, with people no longer living this in the room that I used to cipher with. I've ciphered with Tupac, I've ciphered with Biggie, I've ciphered with, very profound individuals that are really much more doper than their records, convey. And it's good when you hear cats that take that cipher energy into the booth and they're able to translate that same energy. But also just like letting individuals that might not have that same skill of voice stretch out more. Not like just letting somebody that's whack just keep rapping, but giving them a chance, And the ladies a lot of times get cut off a lot by the fellas, but it's sometimes, any individual will hog or rap longer. Not that we're counting your bars, but like, come on, man, let somebody else rhyme, And I like it when we're ciphering and heads pick up off the last word or the pattern. I like it when there's microphones involved in stage. I like the street shit more after the show. I like it when heads are hot as fuck. And you're like, damn, woo. Like, I'm glad you're on my side. There's motherfuckers out here that's crazy with these rhymes now. It's like a whole nother exponential increase. I don't look at it as necessarily generational, but now that so many rules have been not necessarily started, but broken, where heads to stretch the form, the pattern of the rhymes and where they hit, it moves me. It really moves me. The confidence, the projection, the adherence to style and dialect and different languages as well as melodics. But also just in a cipher, it's like people know who's hot and who's feeling the mood. Sometimes you're in a cipher where everybody hot and everybody eating. Sometimes it might be a weaker link, but then they come back stronger next time. And so that's a sword, sharper sword in that sense. And I think the cipher culture is beautiful too, because the battle culture, for what it's worth, is still potent. But it's been that. I came into this rap game kind of battling, but the cipher thing is very eloquent, especially whether it's the BET ciphers I've seen, whether it's ciphers in Africa, whether it's the microphone podcast sort of setting, or just heads out in the street, like I said earlier, after a show or something, and it's just like, man, let's do it. And with me, it's traditional. Even after a show, it's traditional. And I hope that continues because, the cipher of the circulating the love. I like ciphers in the aspect of my 9 isn't just a multiplicative property. It's just like a cipher that continues to expand like a Nautilus shell, Fibonacci sequence, you dig? And that's some kind of way, that's the way I look at the 9. So, and the cipher thing too, you want to, not, it's a mic etiquette, in a sense. But thank you.